Welcome back to the Full Court Trap Podcast, episode 4. Today we got my brother Fats on here. How's it going, my man?
Yes, sir, my boy, Full Court Trap. Thank you so much for having me, bro. When I seen that you was uploading podcast episode with your boys, I knew I had to get on here and talk some sports with you, my man. I appreciate you a day one, man, commenting on my channel, and look where we at now, bro.
Yeah, man, this is awesome. So with Fats, I've been watching him, since the beginning and seeing his grind and everything. It's been amazing. And I really wanted to have you on here because I definitely want to talk some ball, especially with the trade deadline coming up. Which
You,
teams have what have you been really excited about this NBA season?
I've been so excited about everything. Going into the season with all the trades in the offseason and, people going to different teams, I knew the season was going to be absolutely ridiculous, with Dame heading to the East. And, obviously my favorite team, is the Toronto Raptors. We'll get more into them a little bit later. We're not going to talk about them off rip, right? But with Dame going to the East and then all these other players on different teams, you had the James Harden saga in the beginning, man. This NBA season has been exceeding my expectations already, bro.
Same
Already.
here. And especially as a Cavs fan, it's been awesome. And like you said with Harden, it's crazy to think that that team had 6 losses in a row to start. Everyone was talking bad about them. It's been a lot quieter since for that Clippers team for sure.
Listen, man, when it comes to the Clippers, man, I have in 2020. All right, so obviously I think you know this, but I'm a LeBron hater, rooting for
Yes.
him basketball wise, right? So basketball wise, top two greatest player of all time, great off the court, good person. Not just on the court, I've always rooted against him. When he went to well, not when he went to the Lakers, but when he was on the Lakers in 2020 and AD went there, and the Clippers formed their thing with Kawhi and Paul George, I was rooting for the Clippers so hard. Like I became damn near a Clippers fan, right? Like I was rooting for the Clippers because that was Kawhi coming off the Raptors ring season when he went
Oh
to the
yeah.
Clippers, right? And I'm a Raptors fan, so I was hyped, right? And then that's when I thought Kawhi was like the best in the world by far, and I was like, damn, they're gonna. I was like, Battle of LA, they're gonna spank the Clippers, the Lakers, all this. Obviously, they sold in the bubble, crazy. By the way, I feel like
Crazy.
Kawhi would be, if he didn't sell in that and won the NBA Finals in the bubble, would have had 3 Finals MVPs on 3 different teams. I feel like he would have been a top 15 solidified player all the time. Like I truly believe that if he was able to do that, right? Not the point, right? Um, and then every year I was like, all right, the Clippers are gonna be really good. They kept getting injured and injured and injured. Like every year is just something, man. They went to the conference finals against the Suns. Kawhi went down. Last year Kawhi went down. It just but this year, man, when I first seen like the first 6 games, I was like, they're done right now, bro.
Well, it feels, going back to my Cavs, it feels like kind of a similar situation, obviously for different reasons, where, last year, I feel like both teams had a lot of hype around them. Obviously more even before years for the Clippers, but both teams towards the beginning of this year, it felt like people just, it was over. Like people thought it was completely over for both teams. And the last 2 months, man, Cavs and Clippers have probably been the best two teams in basketball, which is crazy to think about. And Knicks may be up there too, Celtics obviously, but those two teams have been the best two teams. It's
Yeah,
crazy because it really looked over for
for
both of
sure,
them.
for sure. One last point on the Clippers, like it's like I want to believe it right now, but I hope, man. I hope. Like I hope for them, for Steve Ballmer always going crazy. You feel me? Like
It's funny.
I like this. If it doesn't happen this time, I don't think it's gonna ever happen. Like
Well, it's interesting because Kawhi and PG have actually played pretty much every game this year, which has been beautiful to watch. Like as a basketball fan, playoffs aside, whatever aside, like just being able to see them out there on the court, it's awesome.
listen, Kawhi is unreal. Um, Kawhi Leonard is when he is healthy, he is always in contention for one of the best in the world, especially in the playoffs. To see his
Yes.
offensive game develop the way it did, I remember when they won the Spurs. The when he was playing defense on LeBron and won the Finals MVP, then I was like, yo, this guy is really good, right? And then
Yeah.
to see his evolve since then, obviously he had his problem with his injuries and the load management and all that. It is what it is, right? Maybe if it wasn't for all that, he would be even better all the time. I know he's not this flashy player and popular in IG, but when I'm watching the game, bro, he is
It's
one of the
beautiful.
best when he's healthy. The mid range, the 3 point, it's automatic. The aggressiveness with the dunk. still a really good defender. I mean, in his
Yeah,
prime, one of the best ever. Still, right now, people say he's not as good. He's still very, very good on defense. And then one last thing. I know this is your guy. Shout out my guy Westbrook, man.
Russ,
Coming
man.
off the bench, man. Taking that leadership role. Go ahead. I know that's your guy for real. Like,
Dude, what Russ has done this year, I think people are like, "Oh, he's not had as big of a role on this team as whatever teams." I think this has shown that he's exactly the person that people don't the haters have said that he's not for years.
he
He
wants
is a
that
team
ring.
player. He's a team player who wants to win. He's bringing everything they need off the bench.
I love
He's bringing
Russ.
that energy every single night. Even if he's not even if he's not scoring, he's making great passes,
Doesn't even have
rebounding,
to, man.
playing
Doesn't have to
defense.
score, man.
No, it doesn't have to. And
And
it's
he's
people
okay with that, which is what I
he's
love, bro.
happy. He's happy, man. He's happy. And, he really took it on himself. People were like, the lineups have played great with Russ in there. Is there a problem with Harden? And he was like, no, I'll go to the bench. And ever since then,
Exactly.
it's worked because at the end of the day, you can't have four guys who need the ball in their
Can't.
hands for
It
the
was
same time. It doesn't really work.
100% a needed move, 100%. And the thing about Russ off the benches, I think he's playing better off the bench than he would have as a starter. I mean, he's going in there and scoring. He's having his 20-point night sometimes, assisting, playing good defense, man. And in the early second quarters and fourth quarters, when Kawhi and PG are out, him and Harden could play together, and they do.
Yeah.
And it's good, and they play well when it's during that
Well,
time. Russ doesn't close every time, understandable, because you got to put Kawhi and PG back in the game, obviously. But in those early second and fourth quarters, Russ and Harden are getting it done, and no one's talking about it. They could be on the court
yeah.
together. We saw it in Houston. It's not like it's
First
championship
time
wise, but it was
together.
pretty good. Yeah,
And I mean, Houston, I think that Houston team, people call it a failure or whatever. Dude, they were the best team in basketball in December and January of that year before the bubble. The
yep,
only reason they got killed by so bad by the Lakers, I'm not saying they would beat the Lakers because that Lakers team was very, very good.
very
The
good.
only reason they got killed by a Lakers team was because Russ was playing with a torn quad. He came back from
Yeah.
COVID midway through. Who did they play first round?
Uh,
Shoot, Jazz,
min-
right? No, Jazz
oh,
was
the Thunder.
Thunder. Right. Thunder. Yeah, that was the series where
Chris
CP3 was
Paul.
going crazy. That
Yeah,
was my favorite version of Chris Paul ever.
yeah, that was
Um,
lit. That was
he
fun.
was he was amazing on that team.
Yeah,
And but Russ came in midway through that series, having not played in a game in 4 plus months, probably 5 months
yep,
actually, with a torn quad, which we learned later was actually a torn quad. And
crazy.
yeah, I mean, the fact he was there was crazy. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah,
and
I
then
think that team could have really done some damage if he was healthy.
yeah,
But
man, the
obviously,
bubble season was a lit season, and I put no asterisk around it either.
mhm,
And I'm a LeBron
absolutely,
hater and Lakers hater. If anything, it was harder. If anything, it was some of the best basketball I ever played. If anything, I
yeah,
was. I mean, the shooters were. I mean, it might have been easier to shoot there, supposedly. That's what they said. Which I mean,
yeah.
I might agree, but doesn't that make it harder?
Well,
So,
what's his name? What's his name? TJ Warren had like
oh my gosh,
well,
yeah, that was. Yep. Forgot about
he was
that.
one of the best scorers in NBA history during
Oh my
that. So
gosh,
the
crazy.
Suns went 8-0. I mean, if that bubble doesn't happen, do the Suns ever become what they became? Who knows?
Nope.
Yeah,
And then one last final point on the Clippers. I'm sorry I didn't mention
yeah.
this. Because you brought up about the Rockets kind of failing in the playoffs. James Harden playoffs is also something that worries me a little bit.
I will challenge you on that though, because I understand it. I get
Hmm.
it. So if you look at Harden's career, he's he's had very on and off playoffs. The idea that
Yeah.
he's been a bad playoff performer is just wrong. But
No.
he's had his great and he's had his bad. The worst being obviously that game 6 against San Antonio in 2017, one of the worst performances I've ever watched. But if you look at the 17-18 playoffs, where he took one of the greatest teams, sorry, did I say 16-7? Yeah, 16-17. 17-18, he took the greatest team ever, in my opinion, to 7 games.
He
He was
ran
playing
into the Warriors a
unbelievable
lot, man.
basketball. He was playing unbelievable basketball in that 17-18 playoffs. That game 7, I don't want to get too much into it, but there was some very questionable calls in that game 7,
Was that
which,
the 10 for 38 from three game or something like that?
yeah,
Remember?
that was the one where they missed 27 in a
I
row.
mean, Chris Paul got injured too, and he was playing unbelievable.
Yeah,
He was playing
in that,
unbelievable.
unreal. He was unreal, and it was a stupid play at the end of game 5, which they had won pretty much at that point too. It
Yeah.
sucked. Um, and then even last year, that Philly situation was
He
terrible.
choked in
That
game
was
7, but the first 6 games he was great.
Yeah, he had 2 40-point games,
Yeah.
and that team was just not they didn't work well together. It was weird.
I
You'd think them beating Harden would, but it just didn't.
I'm not a I'm not a 76ers guy, playoff type of guy. I'm not a
Yeah,
76ers guy at all. I knew it wouldn't work. So Embiid yet to get out of the second round. I didn't think it would work with James Harden, you know. But I'm hoping you're right for the Clippers this time around, and I think it will be easier than ever with one of the best playoff performances of Kawhi all time. Probably James Harden's best teammate in the playoffs of all time will be Kawhi this postseason. Because when I think about it, right, or maybe unless you want to go back to the Thunder days, but
KD. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, hmm.
I mean, that was a
Yeah,
young,
but that was very, very
yeah,
young.
that was
Like,
a while ago.
he was
Maybe
a
we shouldn't
6
even
man at that
count
point.
that, you know. And James Harden
Yeah,
wasn't James Harden at that point. So
I did wanna bring up, because you were talking about Kawhi, I did wanna bring up Kawhi's legacy because I think it's very interesting
let's talk about it. Let's
because
talk about it.
he is I think he's a top 10 to 15 playoff performer ever. His playoff performance, are incredible. At the
Incredible.
same time though, regular season does matter, unfortunately. If you look at
It
his
does.
regular season, his numbers during the regular season, like, obviously his percentages and stuff are great, but his totals,
Yeah,
he puts
yeah.
in
It's
the work for
weird.
injuries.
It's
He's such a
weird.
weird player to rank because it
It
depends
is
on what you
weird
value, really.
because you have a player like Andrew Wiggins, and we see what Andrew Wiggins is right now. I don't even want to get into Andrew Wiggins because when he won the chip with the Warriors, I mean, he was the second best player on the team
Mhm.
far and away. Was playing like an
Absolutely.
all-star, great defense on Jason Tatum, rebounding the basketball. I don't know what happened, man, but we'll either say that for a later or another day.
Situation.
But he has more career points than Kawhi Leonard. Like, how does that happen? I don't like, but yeah, it's hard to say, man. It's like I said, if they didn't choke the 3-1 and they went on to win the bubble that year, I mean, you have three Finals MVPs and on three different teams. It would have been back to back years. I think he would have been top 15 at that point. I'll give him around like top 25 ish. I would have to say right now. He goes on to win this year, at least top 20. I would say.
Def
Hot take, he
Definitely
goes
would be
on
in
to
that
win
range.
this year because I am already damn near a believer that he might be as good as KD all time. But
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. If they win that ring this year, the conversation with him and KD will be so interesting because I feel like he's far and away a better playoff performer than KD. Like KD, he
far and
never
away,
he never
far
had a
and away.
series like 15, 16. KD did against the
And listen, we
Warriors
can
where,
talk about
it just
KD.
fell apart.
We can
Um,
talk about KD, but it's going to take a little while. So I don't know if you want to leave that
yeah.
off for now.
Yeah, we can leave that off. With KD, he's had times this year where I've been like, "Damn, this guy's still that, generational player." And there's other times where I watch this guy in the playoffs and it's just like, "Who the hell? Like, what is this guy?"
After the Warriors, bro,
Yeah, and
I
that's another thing. Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if he's been top seven in the league since the Warriors. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. You know.
And like obviously as a Cavs fan, like KD is my most hated player ever. Like after he
See that's when
yeah,
in
so it's
in LeBron's face that was
yeah,
yeah
it's bias for
that's when
sure.
he
So
was
I try to
different.
keep the bias out of it because
Yeah,
when
gotta keep
I
the bias out of it. Got to.
because when I watched that Warriors team, I hated every single person involved with them.
Yeah.
Like it is what it
Hey
is.
man,
But
at least y'all got the 3-1 and at
yeah.
least y'all got there and we came back to Cleveland. Y'all had a lot of good years and at least y'all good right now. At least y'all back in the playoffs. At least But
And
yeah, let's talk about the Cavs right now.
dude,
Let's talk about the Cavs. You go first. You go
yeah.
ahead talk about your Cavs, my boy.
So man, I made a video when Garland and Mobley went out. I believe that was when they were 13 and 12. Which they've won 19 to 23 since, by the way. They were 13 and 12, ninth in the East. There's articles being posted. I don't know what's going on in Cleveland, but it's not good. And when Darius Garland and Evan Mobley go out, it's like, damn, this team's done. Like,
Mm,
even myself, I was like, let's just hope they can stay over 500 until Mobley and Garland
yeah.
get back, and then see what happens. Maybe we can find some players who haven't, gotten as much of an opportunity and see if they can find their stride. What has happened since then has completely just I can't even describe it. I was hoping, we saw Craig Porter Jr. ball out a little bit before Garland went down. I was thinking, okay, for this to happen, Craig Porter Jr. is gonna have to be really involved. He's ended up not even being in the rotation. There's been 10 guys who've been playing great basketball. I'm gonna name everyone. It's been Mitchell, Okuro's playing the best basketball of his career. He's been
You
locked
told me
down.
about him. You
Should
told
be
me about him.
all should be all defense. Guy's been incredible. Shooting 38.5% from three on most
Okay.
attempts of his career. You got
That's
Dean
good.
Wade who's shooting 40% from three on four attempts a game. Been according to I don't really understand this stat, but according to D LeBron, it's like a wing defender stat or whatever. He's the best wing defender in basketball, which is kind of hard to believe, but
That's crazy.
his defense is very good.
Okay.
It's surprising. Max Juice brings a lot. He's been very good defensively.
Yep.
His shooting's very inconsistent, but he does a lot off ball. He had 2 plays last night. Against Sabonis. Sabonis got the rebound. He snatches out of Sabonis's hands after the rebound, gets an easy layup, and then turns around, hits a three the other time. Two
That's
different
awesome.
plays.
And for it to be
Yeah,
Sabonis, because I mean Sabonis on the
Sabonis is
glass.
incredible,
Oh
and we could
my!
talk about
Snubbed,
Sabonis too, but the fact he
snubbed.
didn't make the All Star game is crazy. That dude had a
Carl
triple double
Anthony
in the first half.
Towns. Go ahead,
Oh
continue with the
yeah,
Cavs.
man, but man, if we're talking man, Mitchell and Allen, what they've both been doing, it's just I mean, Mitchell, here's my thing with Mitchell, right? Before the Cavs and the first year and a half of the Cavs, my impression was this guy is one of the most gifted scorers I've ever seen, but I don't
He's
know how great of a
unbelievable.
team player he can be.
Hmm.
And he's completely changed everything. He's become one of the best facilitators I've seen as a Cav ever,
On
maybe the best
the
besides LeBron.
his
Um,
playmaking is so underrated,
it's
man. It's
unreal. It's
ridiculous.
dude, he's had some passes the last few weeks where it's like, how do you even get that through? I know you saw the one. I watched your reaction to it where he's going to the lane. There's like two
Yeah, he
guys on him. He
does.
just pitches it behind his back to George Niang.
It's ridiculous.
And by the way, Niang has given us some special performances too. Shout
Three,
out to George
the
Niang.
shoots at three, man.
Yeah, he's shooting like I mean, he's under his career average for three this year, but he started off slow. He's had a little bit of a slump recently, but that middle part where he really needed it, he was killing it.
Good.
But man, Mitchell, it's been crazy because it's really felt like the game has slowed down for him,
Hmm.
and he's just taking what the defense gives him. And I think he's playing.
And
I
I don't
think
know why they're giving it to him. Like, double that ball, man. He's gonna kill y'all.
but he's gonna make the pass if you don't. That's the
And
thing now.
as we're recording this, Cavs are the second seed, right?
Yes,
They just
they're the
passed the
second seed.
Bucks.
Yes,
That's
yes,
insane. Like
it's insane.
they passed the Bucks.
I had the Cavs as the second seed going into this year. Everyone was laughing at me the first 2 months of the season. I thought, I felt like the Strus signing was, and even though he's shooting like 34% from three, it's really brought a lot in terms of spacing. And we can get into another guy
And
who's brought a
he's
lot spacing.
when you guys are fully healthy, he's the fifth starter, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
Or does it depend on the
It's
game, or is he official?
it's
Or
Strus. It's Strus.
it's Truce? Gotcha.
Yeah. But Strus and Sam Merrill, and I know you see it, Sam Merrill, but
That man will be making them
he
threes.
plays 15 or 20 minutes a game. He shoots like 6 threes, makes 43% of them.
That's crazy,
It's
man.
insane. Dude goes in there and he has the quickest shot release, I think, in
Yeah,
basketball right now. It's just like it's beautiful.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
He's like moving three.
yeah. He's unbelievable, man. Mobley came back, had a huge game the other night. Garland's still getting adjusted.
Yep.
There's a lot of people who are worried about Garland. I'm not so much worried as I am just want to see him get back fully healthy because man, he went through hell.
Yeah.
That dude had a broken jaw. He couldn't even eat like solid food for weeks.
I remember
Um,
with Mobley and Garland, I remember they were out for like 2 or 3 Cavs games, and I don't know why. Did no one really report on their injuries? I remember you're the one that told me they were going to be out for 3. I
yeah,
thought they were going to be out for 2 to 3 games. I thought it was day-to-day type stuff. And I remember you hit me up in the comments, been like, "Yo, they're out for months, for weeks," and I was shook. And I made the video on it.
yeah. Well, it was very strange because it was one day. Garland gets announced out 4 to 6 weeks. I was like, well, our season's cooked. All of a sudden, oh, like less than an hour later, Mobley's out
Mobley.
6 to 8 weeks.
Oh
It's
my
like
gosh.
what? And
And they
yeah, because
survived, and
Mobley,
they're back now.
yeah, and yeah, it's been crazy. Even somebody like Tristan Thompson was giving really nice minutes.
He's
Really
suspended
good.
right now, right?
What?
He's suspended right now, right?
He's suspended
I'd be
25
clowning
games.
Tristan Thompson because of but Tristan
My
Thompson
bad.
in the prime Cavs days, he used to be nice, man.
Dude, he was giving us. I see my
He was doing alright too right now, but it was I just like to clown
no,
him because of the jokes. It's
no,
funny. It's
yeah,
all
no, that's
jokes.
fair.
It's all jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was giving a lot of toughness. I feel like more than anything though, Jarrett Allen and Mobley have
Oh,
both been playing
oh
very
my!
good
Why have we
defense
not
too.
mentioned Jared Allen? Oh my
Well,
gosh!
I was gonna get into him. I think
Go.
Tristan Thompson helped him a lot because he's playing
Yeah,
that Tristan Thompson
for
always
sure.
played that aggressive physical stuff.
Mhm.
Dude, Jared Allen looks like a man amongst boys this year. And in the past, he's looked like he's looked soft at times. He has not looked soft at all this year.
Okay.
He's looked like he's looked like an assassin out
Yeah.
there, like straight up. Like it's
He was injured in the
crazy.
beginning of the season.
He was injured in the beginning. He
Yep.
started off a little slow, and when they needed him, man, I think he was the biggest. Because the other day we knew Mitchell could get
He's
hits,
holding
we
down
knew
that
whatever,
paint,
but
bro. He's
Jared
holding
Allen
that down.
averaged 19 and 14
The
over like a 20
boards.
game
Yeah.
stretch. It's unbelievable. His passing's actually good. He's got a mid range now. His defense, I mean, I'd be
Great.
hard
I
pressed
mean,
to find
unreal. You don't want to go
better.
try to poster him, bro. He'll block the shit out
No,
of that.
and he will contest every single poster too. Some
Yeah.
guys
Oh
don't
yeah, I love guys
turn
like
out.
that.
Yeah,
That's someone like Giannis. Giannis gets posted a lot because he's contesting all of them. Guys don't contest because they're gonna get slammed on. You know, Jared Allen is
yeah,
one of them dudes, and I respect that. You know, you're gonna get slammed on, but he's gonna get some blocks. You gotta contest because if not, they're just gonna get free dunks. Like they're
yeah,
gonna go
exactly.
every time. Dude. So it's good energy even to get posted. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
you get posted, but I mean, it's not as bad as it seems.
it's better than not
Better than not
contesting.
contesting. It's better than letting them
Um,
slam. So
So overall, I guess just to wrap up my thoughts on the Cavs so far, and then let you
yeah,
speak. It's been a roller coaster of a season, but I don't think there's ever been a time that's in the regular season. Obviously, we came back and won the finals, so that's a different thing. But there's
yeah,
never been a time that's been more fun in the regular season in the 14, 15 years of or
yeah.
I guess 14 and a half years of Cavs basketball I've watched. Never been a more fun time in the regular season. 2 years ago, that team was fun as hell. That stretch they had December, January or
Was that
like
they
November,
lost in the
December.
play-in, right?
Yeah, they lost
Was
in the
that
play-in,
is
but they
that the
were
year you're talking about?
but they were like the 3 or 4 seed before. Well, first Sexton got hurt earlier, then Rubio, then Markkinen missed time, Allen missed time, Mobley missed time, Garland missed time.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was bad.
Before I go, Colin Sexton, man, shout out to the way he's
Oh
playing right
yeah,
now. I
dude,
mean, and
my guy.
I debated with my friend about Garland and Colin Sexton. I was like, yo, Colin Sexton was nice, bro. Like obviously you get Mitchell over him, like that's no question. Like it's an upgrade. But I mean, I just want to give Colin Sexton some flowers because he is really good, man. I like Colin Sexton,
Sexton's
man. And
Sexton's a beast,
yeah,
and he deserves all the credit in the world, man. He had dude, people acted like he was a six man type of guy. He averaged 24 points a game on
he was a
48%
stud on
shooting
the
3 years
Cavs,
ago.
bro. Stud.
Like 24 points a game is not normal. That's not something that just any
He was
guy could
nice
do.
in high school too, bro. High
Yeah.
school, college.
Dude, I
Yeah.
became a fan during that 3-on-5 game in
Yeah,
Alabama.
bro. Oh my, yo, that was crazy. You bring
I
back the
watched that live.
nostalgia. That boy, yeah, he's and the way he plays defense, he's like, yeah, concept. And I mean, it
He's a
was. I
dog.
mean, obviously you're taking Mitchell over many day, and like if you're gonna, you got to trade him for that. But I mean, shout out Colin Sexton, man.
Sexton's an underrated playmaker, though. He's gotten a lot better in the last
Yeah,
couple years than he was in Cleveland
and
early.
now he's finally. I mean, he's at his peak right now with the with the Jazz. Not like his peak like ever, like with the Jazz. Took a while. I guess he was injured a
Him and
little
Laurie are
bit. Took
beasting.
them. What happened?
Him and Laurie are going crazy together. I love
Oh,
to see it.
I'm happy for Laurie too, man. From the Bulls, and I think he was on another team too. I mean, and
He
now
was on the
he's
Cavs.
yeah, again.
Yeah, he's a beast on the Cavs.
Wait, was he part of the Mitchell trade? No, no, no.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was Mitchell. It was Mitchell for Laurie, Sexton, Ochai Jabi, and three first.
That's crazy, bro.
But
Damn.
Laurie averaged like 15, 5, and 5 in Cleveland. He was nice. He was really good, but he wasn't ever going to be what he became in Utah or in
Yeah,
Cleveland.
for sure. I mean, I forgot that it was both Laurie and Colin that was the trade. So obviously you're still winners with Mitchell, but I mean, Jazz not too bad either for that.
No, I think it's the biggest win-win
And
trade
either
in
way, with the
generation.
Jazz, it wasn't working out with Gobert and what they had there. So good for both sides. All right. So shall I get into the Cavs now? Let's
Oh,
go.
can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
Can I say one more
bro,
thing?
keep going. Whatever you got to
Um,
say, man.
just so obviously the playoffs is the concern, the thing people want to talk about because
Yep.
of what
Yeah, go
happened
ahead.
last year.
Yeah. Talk.
And okay, my only point on that is going to be the Cavs in the playoffs last year had 5 guys who were really trustworthy at any time. You had Garland, Levert, you had Garland, Levert, Mobley, Allen, Mitchell. Mitchell should be the first guy I mentioned, but I don't know why. But you had Okoro had an injured left knee. Didn't play the end of the regular season. Probably wouldn't have come back at that time if it wasn't playoff time. Dean Wade was playing with an injured shoulder the whole second half of the year. He was yes. Ricky Rubio was a shell of himself. We had 50-year-old Danny Green playing playoff minutes. Now we got instead of that, we got new and improved Okoro, new and improved Dean Wade, Max Struess, Sam Merrill. Um, we got George Niang for shooting also. So this is all shooters. The Cavs couldn't space the floor to save their lives last year. In the half court, they were getting eaten alive. I think Mobley and Allen are a lot tougher than they were last year. And yeah, and I think I don't know, the 3-point defense is also better. Not that the 3-point defense necessarily killed them against the Knicks, but I feel like them and the Knicks were very similar teams. It was just the Knicks played a tougher series. I think also the thing I will say, which I think is one of the things I'm really most excited about the playoffs about, is because, geez, that was a weird sentence, but you know what I mean. Um, is JB Bickerstaff, man. He's learned how to coach basketball now. He was very much a player's coach, very much a guy who, was trying to felt like it was just there, to make the players happy before. He's turned into a real basketball genius in the past year. And I think that maybe after that series, that might have really sparked him to really go in. But I used to have such big problems with rotations. He made the move to give Sam Merrill minutes this year, and look what that's turned into. So shout out to JB Bickerstaff, man. He's become a really, really good coach. I'm happy for him because I was saying fire him for the last 3 years. I'm not gonna lie. So
Yeah,
I was, yeah.
he deserves a lot of
There you
credit.
go.
He deserves a lot of credit, man. Like and we're not gonna get into this for a bunch of minutes, but he should have been the Eastern Conference coach, and Doc Rivers is crazy. Like, what is like NBA? You're crazy, like bro. But we'll get into the Doc Rivers signing real quick a little bit later. Um,
Absolutely.
and the Adrian Griffin firing. But that's crazy. That's crazy. Is all I'll say, and that he
Coached like
deserves
3 games
he deserved it. I mean, you could have gave it to anyone but Doc Rivers, but if did anyone that deserved it in the East, it was either him,
or Missoula.
Fibs, or Missoula. Like it
Yeah.
just and maybe the Cavs coach should have been number one. But okay, so let's get into my thoughts of the Cavs. Obviously, we've been talking about the Cavs for a long time from last year, y'all.
Since
You know
early
how hyped I was
2022.
on them
Yep.
last year. You know how much I was rocking with them. And then what happened in the playoffs happened. I'll get back to that a little bit when I get deeper into this. And then this year in the beginning, I was like, they kind of lost my trust, and now I'm back. Now I'm back on that. You feel me? But I'll start off with obviously their best player, most important player, Donovan Mitchell. I can go get the Jazz jersey right now. I have been a Donovan Mitchell stan, most underrated, all star, amazing playoff performer,
It definitely vouch. He's
crazy, amazing playoff performer. Um, since the Jazz, I remember his first playoff series when he had that putback dunk against the Rockets on the Jazz. I knew then. I knew then, and the way his game has evolved to the 3-point shot, and now the playmaking, he when it's all said and done, and even to right now in this point, what's he in his seventh, eighth year?
something like that. Yeah.
He has probably the most underrated, and when it's all said and done, he's gonna have one of the best mixtapes of all time
Yes.
with handles and dunks. Oh my goodness, the amount of ankle breakers this man has is
It's crazy.
bro, like it's not talked about enough. Like
You have to
there's
just
too
don't
many
be
to
missing
count,
it
and yet no one even talks about it. It's ridiculous. And the amount of
every night.
poster dunks. The other day he had the self lob against the Kings, right? He had
Dude,
the
this flop was
That's
sick,
crazy.
dude.
That was
And
wild.
man, he was going crazy in that game. He
Um,
was unbelievable.
the eye test and the skill is just underrated and not talked about enough when it comes to him. Plus the leadership, um, and plus the playoff performance. Oh my, the playoffs! How good is this man in the playoffs, man?
Yeah.
Insane. He's had a 57-point game, obviously in the bubble, right? It was 57 or
Yeah.
51. Jamal was 51, and I think,
57.
and yeah, and
57.
Donovan was 57. What's that? Third most all time in the playoffs, or
Insane.
Jimmy tied it, so tied for third. Um, and he's unstoppable, bro. In the East, he is scary, man. In the playoffs last year, I was expecting a little bit better. It was probably his worst playoffs of his career. He's made the playoffs every year. Another amazing accomplishment. Gonna make it again this year, obviously. Probably will, always will.
Yeah.
Um, but it wasn't even close to his spot, and he still played great, But he needed a little help last year that unfortunately he couldn't get. Then when it goes to the rest of the team, man, Jared Allen playing absolutely amazing basketball, man. With the boards and the blocks, give him his credit, man. Um, Garland and Mobley have been injured this whole time. I've told you so many times, for Mobley, the defense is amazing. He's a really good player. I just need him to be a little bit more aggressive on offense, and on top of that, get the skill up a little bit on offense. I feel like he has Anthony Davis potential. Like I feel like that's the best comparison that you can really give him, offense and defense. Um, and then you add Strus and Niang in the offseason for really good signings. Strus in big games has, delivered, can obviously shoot. He's kind of a clutch player. He's a good rotation man with this team for sure. Good role player slash starter, and has helped them a lot, man. So shout out to what Max Strus has done. In the offseason when they signed him, I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For sure. And then when you get to Garland, man, I've always been a big Garland guy. Top 10 passer in the league, in my opinion. Great handles, can obviously shoot it. Really good offensive player. Obviously on defense is not the greatest. But it makes up for it with Mitchell, who's not an amazing defender, but a decent perimeter defender. He's a
Second
decent,
most steals in basketball this year, or
a
second
great,
most steals
a
per
lot
game.
of steals and a really good perimeter defender, which is all that matters. No one's gonna be able to take him
Yeah.
1-on-one because you have an amazing interior defense with Mobley and Allen. No one's going down there anyway. So all he needs to really worry about is the perimeter, which he can definitely guard. It's just when people drive on him is what you're scared of. But the Cavs have perfect, players to help that out, which really benefits Garland. Which really benefits Garland. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, with Garland, like last year, I'd argue with people. My friends would be like, Garland's not a good defender. I'd argue he is. I still think he's a lot better than people give him credit for, but also I do think sometimes he looks a lot better, definitely because of the guys that are back there. Like,
Okay,
they
gotcha.
both could be true. Where
Mm-hmm.
I do think Garland's like, for his height, is a really good defender. I think he's probably a league average defender, not too good, not too bad. But obviously, you get, you get him in the post wherever he's screwed or whatever.
Yeah,
But in terms of perimeter defense, I think he's pretty solid. But obviously a lot is made up for on defense
yeah.
mistakes from him. I think Mitchell's been like a great defender. I think
It's getting
obviously
better
some of
on
that had to
defense
do with
for sure.
some of that has to do with Alan Mobley, but Mitchell's really given his all to that this year. It's felt like he
Yeah,
did at the beginning of last year, and it felt like he kind of
you love to see that.
goes
You love to see
goes
that
off
too.
from it, and then
Hmm.
this year it feels like he's like, now we need that mentality the whole year. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna stay there.
for sure.
Sorry,
Yeah,
keep going.
he has to bring that aggressiveness and that message to the team, especially on defense, because he's the leader, even though he's not the best defender. And but with him doing it, it makes everyone have to do it, which is what you need as a leader. To keep going, Garland on the last point. I was watching the playoffs last year, and on offense, he just didn't shoot it well. He shrunk a little bit. MSG might have been a little, you know, bright lights. I am very more confident. I can't say 100% because I need to see it first. I'm a big see it before I say it and believe it type of guy. But I do believe with the experience now, and the chills won't be as big this time because he's been there before and he'll know how to respond, and the experience matters. I believe this time around it'll be much better, but it's just something to keep an asterisk on and note because if he does it again, then it's really scary.
Yeah.
Um, but I am going to give him the benefit of the doubt for now, and I do believe he will bounce back. I will put my money on that. But I can't say that 100% and tell you to say that and argue you if you weren't going to say that because we did see him really shoot poorly last year. If you
Well,
go ahead.
he had two great games. He had the game two, he was amazing where they blew him out. He
Gotcha.
had like 30 something in that game. Second half of game four, he was really, really good. Game three, he shot 4 of 21 or whatever. I was at that game. Probably one of the worst,
Gee.
probably the worst sports event I've ever been to. That was, and it was loud. It wasn't the Knicks crowd right there. Knicks crowd was crazy. It
Hmm.
was the Cavs performance,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah.
pathetic. Um, Game one, he had like he had a bunch of turnovers. He didn't shoot too badly, but his turnovers and then Josh Hart hit a ridiculous shot, sold it.
Yeah, that
Um,
was tough. I
yeah,
mean, he doesn't. Josh Hart doesn't even make that shot, and that
it's
was
a different
almost like the
series.
series. Like
Yeah,
he's not making that again this year.
never,
He's not
never
making that
making
again
that shot
this
in
year.
his life.
He's never making it again this year. That's all I'm gonna say.
But yeah, keep going. That's all I want to say with Garland.
Um, Yeah, so and then the rest of the bench, I won't get too deep into it, but they've been playing great. The role players have been playing great, way better than last year. Seems like coach is getting them in when they have to. Another player that I've always really liked, and I call him a type of a skill and street player, is Karis LeVert. He
Yes.
needs to play flashy and in a bag to play basketball, and it works. And he's not like a regular type of fundamental player. Like he has to like be swaggy with it,
Yeah.
um, to play basketball, which is awesome. He's had some big games. He can really score the basketball. Him coming off the bench is amazing. A great one of the best offensive players in the league can
Sixth man
really,
of the year.
yeah, he can. He's really doing his thing. I don't want him to shrink in the playoffs. A little bit of the same exact thing I said with Garland. I would say with him, but I've always been a big Harris LeVert guy. By the eye test and skill, I like Harris LeVert a lot. Solid defense too.
Mhm.
He's been staying healthy as of late, so I think
Yeah,
he's that's great, and that's great, and that's good, and of course, just pray for him to stay healthy because when he is healthy, he can be a real factor and helper to this team. So he's a big piece of it off the bench, in my opinion. Especially, let's say if Struce isn't hitting or Garland isn't hitting, you can put him in. Um,
absolutely.
so that is huge. And again, like I said, for Mobley, a little bit more of an offensive game skill wise. And then once he gets that skill aggressive, he can go a long way. He's not at that point or even close yet, in my opinion. Um, but I want to see it. And if that does happen, it's really scary. Like it's um.
The other night,
So
Mobley,
go ahead.
he did go 3 of 3 from three the other night, which he's
Yeah,
never done for his
that's
career. So
crazy.
I mean, obviously it's one night, but we'll see
Yeah.
if he can even become someone who can you think about the three with. That's so huge for him.
Well, the thing is, he needs to I don't know how much better he can get on offense this season, but I'm talking about going into next season.
Yeah,
Going into next season, I want to see that next step on offense. Um, and it might just be aggressiveness. It really might. It really might just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna score. That could be what it is. Um, so last year in the regular season, I was kind of feeling the same way I was with the Cavs right now. Although right now feels a little bit different than last season, even in the regular season. They're clearly a little bit better. Clearly have better have a better bench, a little bit more healthy. Now, obviously, haven't been. And it's crazy how good they did without those players, which is always what I told you. Can these players play alongside Donovan Mitchell? I didn't know Garland can play alongside Donovan Mitchell. In the playoffs, I still don't know 100%. Um, and how much can they play good as a team? Because obviously basketball has to go around, and it was weird that without the players, without Mobley and Garland, they've done so well. So again, Mobley and Garland just come back so far so good, but have to keep this consistency with your best players and learn how to figure it out all together with the chemistry, which is a little bit of a concern to me, but not a heavy concern at all. I do believe, but again, have to see it in the playoffs. So
of course.
um. And this season just feels for me with the Cavs, it feels a little different, man. It feels a little different. It feels way different than last season. They're better than last season. Last season I had really high hopes going into the playoffs. I thought they were going to destroy the Knicks. Crushed me, broke my heart. Um, broke my take. It was an awful. Made me look
I
so.
had Cavs in 5, man.
I
It
had
was
Cavs in 5-2 or 4. I
dude. I
had
had to,
Cavs. Um,
I think for both of us, had to be around New Yorkers all summer wearing my Cavs
for
stuff.
sure,
It was
for sure.
that was rough.
And so this year got to be different, man. It can't happen again. I mean, this year they're higher seeded. We'll see who they verse in the first round. Obviously, it's an excuse to who they verse in the first round. But if they it depends who they verse in the first round. But I expect them to beat any team in the first round other than the Celtics or the Bucks, and they could very well beat the Bucks 1,000%. I just don't. I wouldn't. I would take the Bucks over the Cavs, but it's not that they can't win that series.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if they can beat the Celtics. I'm not. I don't know if I'm that far yet. Maybe by the end of the season, I'll be
that
saying different. Of course they can. Of course they can.
that
But
that will they'll have to convince me as well. Like right now, I'm just
yeah,
be everyone but the Celtics. I'm worried about right now.
yeah.
Celtics, if we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, we can worry about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, as of right now, I mean, you're not going to see them anytime soon. As a 2 or 3 seed, the only time you would see them is the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
So if you're the 2 or 3 seed, which I mean, looking like it's close. You could end up being the 4 because the Knicks are up there too. I think the Sixers are going to fall down with Embiid for a good amount of games, and
Sixers are
no one
falling
else is in
apart.
question. So yeah, y'all have to keep it up, and then y'all gotta be better in the playoffs this year for sure. But I mean, I'm back on the train. I believe in it. It just again, I'm like a 90% there. Like I'm not like 100% there because again, I have to see it before I believe it. It's kind of like last year again, but this year I just have the feeling it'll be different. So yeah, man, that's pretty much my thoughts on the Cavs, man.
Yeah,
And I'm happy with the Cavs, man. I like the Cavs, man. Of course, like I said, I've always rooted against LeBron in basketball. So
you
back then,
understand right
when he was on the Cavs,
now.
I wasn't rooting for them, but I did still like the Cavs back then. Like it's not like I didn't, I don't know why. I've always liked the
More than the
Cavs, but
Heat.
especially now, yeah, way more than the Heat.
Dude,
Um,
those key teams. I mean,
that's
I'll put
go ahead.
this might be surprising for you, but I was the biggest LeBron hater ever in Miami. Like
Yeah.
nobody. I mean,
I
well,
mean, that makes
probably
sense.
not
All the Cavs
specifically
fans
Cavs
hated when
fans.
he
Yeah,
went to Miami.
but dude, like it was bad, man. I was like fourth,
Yeah.
fifth grade, coming up with a new LeBron hate nickname every single
Yeah, bro.
day.
That's
Like
how it was. That's how
When I
childhood.
heard LaQueen, it was over for LeBron fans at
That's
school, man.
funny,
I was
man.
going crazy.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, that's funny. And then another team, speaking of the Heat, you don't want to verse him in the playoffs, man. I'm
dude,
sorry.
they confuse the hell out of me, man.
I'm
Because
sorry. You don't want to verse him in the playoffs. I don't think any team and no team in the East wants to verse them in the playoffs. Go ahead, and then I'll give
they
my
look
quick take
so
on it.
bad. They look so bad. But you just know
So
in the
bad.
playoffs they're gonna pull some BS. It's like I
Jimmy
don't get it.
freaking Butler, man.
It feels like at some point it has to end. Like
See,
they're
like, what if they're
almost
the
winning one.
seventh seed and the Cavs are the two?
Yeah, I'll be nervous. I want the Magic. I think the Magic would
I
be a
love the
fun
Magic, but they
series.
don't stand a chance. But I do love the Magic. Shout out Paolo,
Yeah,
man. All star.
Magic would be a fun series. I think we win in five in that series.
4,
Magic
5,
probably
yep.
best
Whatever it
matchup
is.
for us. I
Yeah.
think the Pacers are
Y'all
definitely a
destroyed
good
them.
matchup for us too because
Y'all destroyed
their
them.
defense is so
I'm
bad.
not a
Their
big
defense
Pacers
is
guy. I mean, I love
yeah,
Siakam. They got better with Siakam. I gotta give them that.
absolutely.
They gotta hit their stride though. It hasn't clicked yet, but obviously with all trades we
I
see,
think
it
next
takes
year.
time. It takes
I
time.
think
Yeah,
next
I
year.
think at the end of, I mean, it depends because if they get hot at the end of the year, then maybe you don't want to see them in the playoffs. But maybe next year. That's what you're hoping if you don't want to see them in the playoffs. But
They got to add some guys who are like defensive
defense,
specialists.
yeah, they score a lot, and then they give up so much. Kind of like the Hawks. The Hawks score a lot, but they give up. They lose every game and they score 130. It's crazy. But
Yeah, the Hawks are ridiculously bad defensively. I mean,
yeah,
that comes with having Trey Young as your
yeah,
point guard.
I am happy.
I think Trey Young's underrated now, but I
Yeah.
do still defensively.
Defensively he's garbage, but I mean, top 5 passer in the league.
Oh,
He's
absolutely.
done
One
things,
was the fact he wasn't an all star
but now he is
on the
at
all star
least.
roster.
At least
Yeah, but he should have been
ridiculous,
an all
ridiculous. And the
star.
thing about that is, I think he should have been over Bam. I don't know how Bam got it. So by the way, the thing with the Bam is, I've always said, Bam can't be the
Jared
second.
Allen.
Jared Allen should have been over him 100%.
Yeah,
But Bam cannot be the second best player on a championship team. The Heat might always make the finals, but they'll never win it with Bam as the second best player. Although this year could be a little bit different with Terry Rozier and Tyler Hero because it's a little bit different. You got to think about it. They let go of Gabe Vincent and Struess, and this year they're going in this time with Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier. They upgraded heavy, bro.
though the thing I will say is defensively that's a lot worse.
Yeah. Well,
Offensively,
defensively. And they did also lose Kyle Lowry, which was kind of leadership, dirty plays, took the charges,
yeah,
made timely threes. But they do have Hawkes Jr. also this year,
yeah,
who
that he is amazing. He is
he's
very
great.
underrated.
He's
He
great.
is very
He's great.
underrated.
Great rookie. I mean, I don't know how
And I
he
think
always do it, but I mean, I'm taking
I just
those
see
three over Lowry. I think they improved heavy. I mean, Rozier's a
I
23-point per game
yeah,
night.
I
Like,
mean, I see it, but also are those guys like
I mean,
I
it
feel
hasn't
like a
worked so
lot
far. It hasn't worked so far.
yeah, I feel like a lot of what helped in the playoffs last year, they had guys who just got super hot from three, like historically
They had
hot from
Jimmy
three.
freaking Butler.
Jimmy Butler had the greatest individual performance I've ever seen for a series against the
I mean,
Bucks.
after game 2 of the Celtics, he didn't do too
Well, he was
much.
hurt.
But I mean, I don't care. Jimmy freaking Butler in the playoffs is not something you don't want to verse him, bro. I'm
No,
sorry. I
against
don't
the
care.
Bucks, he was unbelievable. I mean,
And
I've never seen
oh
anything
my
like that.
gosh. Like,
A 56-point game, I've never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, I never thought I'd see a greater
he's a
playoff
dog,
game
bro.
than LeBron Game 6 against the Celtics 2012. I never thought I'd see a better playoff
And
game
to
than that, but
me,
Jimmy did it.
it's like it's crazy in my opinion how much better he is than Paul George. Meanwhile, Paul George is just disgusting talent wise, like but then Jimmy Butler just got that dog and that fundamentals, and he's way better in my opinion.
Yeah, I take Jimmy Butler and my
I'll
team
take
over
him
Paul
any
George any
day,
day.
any
Yeah,
day.
it's weird because they've always felt like they're linked, just the type of basketball they play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, they've always felt like they're in the same category to me, like in terms of player, what
Yeah,
they do. Um,
yeah.
and I think most people, it's
Am I
weird.
going too far? I didn't mean to cut you off, but am I going too far to say that Jimmy's better than Tatum, or not? Because
I mean, listen, I'm not huge on playoff Tatum either, but in terms of the all around pack, I don't know. That's tough.
it's
That's
tough.
tough.
It's tough. It's tough. They're like both like 9, 10 in the league, 8, 9, like 8 through 12, like
Yeah.
they're.
And Jimmy's actually shooting a three well in the regular season for the first time since
Yeah,
he got
Jimmy's
his
playing a
Miami
decent
deal.
regular season. I mean, I feel like he should have been an All Star over Bam. I guess because he missed the games. Like I feel like
Well,
I would
like
have put him over Bam.
I love Paolo, but I do think Jimmy deserved it over Paolo as well. I think
For sure. And but I'm happy for Paulo. So
I'm
I'm
happy for
not gonna.
Paolo.
And
Yeah,
Paulo has played great. This actually a whole conversation of Jim Butler and all this had started when we were talking about Trey Young. I just want to say one thing about Trey Young and Tyrese Maxey. Because I think Trey Young should have been over Maxey. Like that's just me
yeah,
personally,
that's fair.
right? The thing about Maxey is we're about to see Maxey deal with what Trey Young has dealt with his whole career
Yeah,
without Embiid. And so far, he did have the 50-point game. Give him credit. Barely escaped against the Jazz. Since then, 1-3. I think all under 20-point games. I don't.
yeah.
This is what Trey Young has been dealing with his whole career. Is all I'm gonna say. And then we're about to see what Maxey does. And then y'all said Maxey was the All Star over him. That's all I'm
We'll
gonna
see.
say.
We'll see.
Um,
With Trey Young too.
and
I
he
mean,
sent the Sixers home, bro. That one
Trey Young,
year. And
Trey
the
Young
Knicks.
led his team to the conference finals with.
I can never forget
I
that.
mean,
Like
who was
that
the
was so
second best
good.
player? What was it? Was
It
it?
wasn't with Murray. I don't even know who it was. Like that's what I'm saying. The team was
Was it
trash.
Clint Capella?
It was Capella.
Bogdanovich?
Capella, Bogdanovich.
Oh,
I love
Kevin
Bogdanovich,
Herter.
but
Kevin Herter was really good.
yeah, I mean he. Oh yeah, Kevin Herter. Yeah, Kevin Herter.
Yeah.
Kevin Herter. But I mean that's
But
still
man, that team
that's
is
nothing.
trash.
That's trash.
Yeah, that
That's
team
and
was
Trey Young is
trash.
just. I mean he was bowing
I
on
mean,
the Knicks,
if he doesn't get
ice
hurt against the
logoing.
Bucks,
Hmm?
if he doesn't get hurt against the Bucks, who knows? He was in a
Who
different
knows,
zone at
bro?
that point.
The
He
Bucks
was
didn't
in a
have Giannis
different
that
zone.
series either. The last two games, which was wild.
The last two games?
Yeah, it was the last two
I thought he
games.
came back. I thought he came back for game six.
Nah, it was the last two games, and then he came back in the finals, I believe.
Right, he wasn't supposed to. Right,
Yeah.
right, you're right. Fuck.
And Drew Holiday and
Yeah,
Middleton got it done. That's when Middleton was prime. Middleton was really
Middleton
good.
was crazy. He's fallen off
Yeah, he's falling off.
badly.
Another
It's sad
player
to
I'm
see.
gonna
He was
bring
one.
up that I want to talk about falling off in a sec. I'll bring him up. But yeah, Middleton. Yeah, You know what's crazy? I feel like the Trailblazers would have said yes if they put Middleton instead of Drew Holiday. I feel like they could have done that, but they wanted to give the loyalty to Middleton and think that
That would
Middleton,
have been crazy.
the Bucks would have been unbeatable with Holiday, bro. Because
Yeah,
the Bucks defense.
it's
Okay, so
taking heat.
this is
Yeah.
a whole. We'll talk about the Bucks in a sec. But what was I gonna say? Damn, I got so much going through my
You were
mind.
talking about somebody who fell off. Just who you are.
No, something before that too. But it will come back to me. I'll bring it up. But real quick, since this is very recent, it happened yesterday. Klay Thompson. What are you
He's
thinking
getting
right now, man?
traded, and he's getting traded.
In
And
the
I
next
don't
2
know who's gonna
days?
want him.
In the next 2 days?
I think so, and I don't know who's gonna want him to be honest. But I think it's gonna be like a salary cap shedding. They
It's
might do like a three-team deal. They might get rid of some picks, get rid of Clay, and then bring somebody back. But I don't think you can trade Clay's contract just straight up. I think you
it's a
definitely need
contract
to
year,
trade.
bro. I don't know if he's ever gonna get paid
Oh,
again, bro.
oh, right. He is a free agent. My bad, my bad. So yeah, you could probably shed his contract. That's a good point. I forgot he's in his last year.
I feel bad for him, man. I mean, he's been so. I mean, the Warriors, Wiggins and Clay. I don't know what's happening. It's straight up Kuminga and Curry. Draymond sucks.
Well,
Chris Paul sucks. Clay
see,
sucks. Wiggins sucks. I feel bad for Curry, but I feel bad for
yeah,
Clay too. I mean, they might try to be loyal to him. Maybe the best thing is letting him go, man. Like
that
for
might be the
him
best thing.
too, man. Like
Yeah. Well, like the thing
I
is,
bet the Lakers
here's
can
a
use him. 3-point shooter.
who?
Lakers can use him, bro. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe,
I mean, I don't know who.
maybe.
The thing about the Lakers, I mean, we'll get into Lakers. We
But
haven't even
how are
talked
they gonna
about the
get?
Lakers yet,
Yeah, how
but
are they gonna get that contract? I don't know. The thing with that, like, I understand saying poor them right now, but they got the peak of everybody for that 2021 run. They had or 21-22 run. They had Clay actually playing great basketball, Poole playing the best basketball of his
she,
career, Wiggins playing the best
yeah,
basketball of his career. Guys
Wiggins,
like Gary Payton
Wiggins,
the second and
Peyton,
Otto Porter
Otto
Jr. playing
Porter.
the best
He's on my,
second
he's
and
on my Raptors. Never plays. He was like,
yeah.
yeah, I got my
He's,
ring.
he's
I'm
been
never
injured his whole
playing.
career besides that ring.
Yeah,
And it's crazy. He was insane in the bubble and then
yeah, and in
or not the
Washington,
bubble, sorry, in the
Washington
playoffs.
early, he was pretty good too.
But he was always hurt though, still. Like he was
Yeah,
injured a lot early too. Um, yeah, so like I understand saying poor them right now, but they got everybody at their best possible in 2021, 2022 for that
yeah.
playoff.
Jordan Poole, they don't win that. I truly think they could have won that ring without Klay Thompson. They could not have won it without Jordan Poole, man.
I think they could have won the Celtics series without Poole. I don't think they could have went to the finals without Poole
Makes
because he
sense,
was
but
really
I
good in the
mean,
West.
yeah, I mean, they're not making the finals without Poole for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, that makes sense. And I really expected Poole to be amazing this year, man. I thought he was gonna be on as James Harden scoring. I mean, it's been a big fall off, man. Obviously,
Yes.
on a better team, you're gonna be better. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. I was on before the season saying Jordan Poole's gonna go crazy. I really don't like how he was kind of traded out of the Warriors with the Draymond punch and all that. And another, we can talk about Draymond real quick since we're talking about the Warriors. I mean, Draymond, I used to be, and I believe they don't win any of those championships without him. Obviously, if he doesn't get suspended in Game 5, I don't know if the Cavs come back 3-1. He great energy, great passing, great defense all this time. Ever since that punch, trash. Should be gone. Too much. Dirty. Get him out of here. Enough's enough. Stomped on Sabonis. Then the stuff this year, it's ridiculous. I'm out on Draymond. I'm out on Draymond. I'm out on. And it hurts me to say because I love Steph Curry. The Warriors, it's over with. Like they gotta trade people. They gotta. Chris Paul's done. Clay's done. Draymond's done. Wiggins, my boy, what happened? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just Curry and Kaminga, right? It's just Curry and Kaminga. They have
Kuminga's
no.
been
I
insane
love
though.
Kaminga.
Kuminga
I
is
love
insane.
Kaminga.
And I said before that draft, I said if we don't get Mobley, I want Kuminga. I never
Wow.
wanted Jalen Green. I said if we don't get, I want Mobley or I want Kuminga. Number one, people were talking about Jalen Green. We already had Sexton, who I thought was at his best. Jalen Green would become Sexton.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Jalen Green's been a complete letdown this year. But in terms of Kuminga, man, he is an absolute beast. And it's weird because as bad as this Warrior season has been, I'd be very encouraged if I was a Warriors fan because you got your future does not look bad right now.
Yeah,
But
for
I
sure.
think if they trade,
Well,
I
the thing
mean,
is, like,
I don't
what are
know.
they gonna? They're not gonna get anything for their
Well, dude, if
players.
I were that, if I'm them, and this sounds crazy, I'm talking to Curry. I'm saying
The
we're
thing
not
is, I feel
getting
like Curry
you another
gotta.
ring.
I feel like Curry doesn't want to blow it up because those are his brothers. Those are the
Yeah,
like Curry. I think
but I feel
it's.
like if Draymond and Clay are gone, do you think Curry really wants to stay in Golden State? And do you think that? I mean, they could still get a huge haul. I mean, you see what he's still
I mean,
doing on a
Curry.
nightly basis.
Curry's the guy that all he wants to care about is championships. It's just the thing
Yeah.
is, I don't. I mean, if he says I want to leave, which would be absolutely insane and break the NBA world, it's like the Warriors would do him that due diligence, right? I would think, but that's
I could see Curry going to the Heat if he ever got traded
that would be ridiculous. Don't even.
because
It would be
it's a
over with.
smart organization that is a riser in the playoffs like the Warriors. I feel like Spoelstra, dude. People don't give Steve Kerr credit, and maybe you're not a Steve Kerr fan. I don't
I
know.
love Steve Kerr. I
I think
love Steve
Steve Kerr
Kerr.
is a genius.
I love Steve Kerr. I
Steve Kerr.
love Steve
I
Kerr.
don't think they ever win a championship if they don't get
I
Steve
love
Kerr.
Steve Kerr.
I think Mark Jackson was a really good
How can
player's
you not
coach,
give him
but
credit? How could you like
dude,
what?
Warriors fans on Twitter want that guy fired
Yeah,
every day. It's
it's
crazy.
ridiculous.
It's crazy. I mean, I understand the guy gets in there, wins a championship. Is what was his first season, right? I'm pretty sure his first season.
I don't
Uh,
remember exactly, but yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
shout out Mark Jackson for starting that bitch up. He never gets enough
it,
credit for that, and he hasn't gotten enough. But Steve
it's
Kerr,
crazy. He's never
unreal. I
gotten
mean,
it.
they don't win anything without Steve Kerr. And Steve Kerr's had that experience with Jordan. He knows how to, and then what he's done with coaching. I don't care. You know how hard it is to coach an amazing team like
It's
that.
insane. It's. I mean, I can't imagine how hard it is to like
All those
even though they
egos.
did end up falling apart at the end, just keeping Curry,
I
KD,
remember that one clip,
Clay, and
bro.
Draymond, but they kept it together for two
Yeah.
full seasons without drama before the third one.
I mean,
Obviously,
KD, he can't stand the Twitter fingers, and everyone's saying that Curry and all that. So he had
he's
to
got
leave.
crazy Twitter
He
fingers,
had to
man.
leave. Oh my God, we can talk about KD. I mean, if you want to talk about Kevin Durant, I mean, it can be on episode 2 when we do it. It
Yeah,
can be later in the
yeah,
pod, but it's gonna take about like 15, 20 minutes to unpack everything. But
yeah.
I love the clip of Steve Kerr when he's coaching up KD and said he said to KD there was a game coach with Jordan, Phil Jackson, whatever, finals. He was making a lot of shots, just like you're making, but we weren't really getting anywhere. Pass your teammates. Trust the first guy. It was an amazing clip, bro.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah.
And there's a lot of truth to that. Not to spend too much time on the Cavs again, but going back to
Mm-hmm.
Donovan
Go
Mitchell,
ahead.
the thing I've said about to everybody about Mitchell is Mitchell could have when Garland and Mobley went down, Mitchell could have scored 40 a game and just said, "I'm taking over," and they would have went 500 during that time.
Yeah.
And what Mitchell has done,
Mm-hmm.
like you were saying, it's been he's turned into the facilitator that's making all these guys around him better, and that's ultimately what's helping him to win. So, to what you're
Yeah.
saying,
Got
I
to make the
think,
guys around you better. That's the big thing, and that's
yeah,
something that I don't think. That's something I've always discredited Kevin Durant about.
he's not a playmaker.
I
He's
don't
not a
think he makes the
playmaker.
guys around him better at all
No.
whatsoever.
or he's a playmaker, obviously with the scoring, but in
with
terms of a
himself,
passer,
but
he's
that's not
not.
what he can't win by himself. He can't win the game
Yeah.
by himself. Sorry.
I mean, he almost. I mean, biggest, the most I've like supported KD, even though I was actually hating on him, but like at the same time, I was like, damn, this guy's incredible. Was the Nets last four
Every,
games against the
everyone I
Bucks?
knew was rooting for him, and I was rooting against him,
Oh, I
bro.
was rooting for the Bucks as well. I had a $200 bet with somebody to win the series. So I was rooting
I
hard for
mean,
the
you
Bucks.
gotta. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, Kyrie don't go down,
Yeah,
but
he did.
that's
It's
basketball, bro.
basketball.
It
Yeah,
happens all the time, bro. Like I don't know
but
what to tell you.
KD, those last four games was the
Unreal.
best
Foot on the
basketball I've ever
line. Hey,
seen.
man, get your foot.
Because
I'm gonna say it. Get your foot off the line, bro.
yeah,
I mean, not to discredit him. It was amazing. No one else probably could in the league at that time could have done what he was doing.
yeah, it
Bro
was
scored
insane.
0 points in overtime. Is all I'm gonna say too, though.
Yeah, yes. No,
But but
I was using
I'm
that to
just
troll
trolling when I
KD.
say that. I mean, it's
No,
facts,
I
but
was using that to troll
I'm more
KD, but
trolling. I'm more
yeah,
trolling than facts. But it's not like what I'm saying is wrong. I can troll
no,
because
you're
it's
right.
facts. That's all
Yes,
I'm gonna say.
exactly.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah. But I mean, because like for me, and again, we could spend, I'm sure, a whole
I mean, to
episode
go
talking
over
about
KD's
KD.
from the Warriors to the Nets to the Suns, ask out,
But
all that, it'd be too
the
much.
reason
But
why for me that was his most perfect series, I felt like KD was always playing. Since for me, KD's the best one-on-one scorer ever. Like you put KD, there's
can't
nobody
argue
who's
that.
defending
Can't
KD
argue
well.
that.
So what KD was doing Golden State never impressed me because Curry drew most of the defense. KD had these one-on-ones. I
Yeah,
expected him to do that.
yeah,
I mean, obviously the shots he hit with LeBron in his face were incredible, but
those
that's
are
what KD's
ridiculous.
done his whole career. It's what he's done his whole career. He's the
Yeah,
best one-on-one scorer of all time. So for KD to do what he did against the Bucks with no help, basically, that was really, really impressive to me. So that was my
yeah,
moment. And then the last 3 years, it's been easy to hate on him because
yeah.
he's
I will give him
phenomenal.
a little credit for this year because I
Mhm.
thought he was
Yeah,
gonna fall out of the top seven conversation,
he's
and
been
I
great.
can't even say that yet. He is
Yeah.
still around that number seven. I don't think he's top five. I definitely wouldn't say that. Um, but again, his team has been trash, and
Yeah.
he does not making them better. But individually, and when you're ranking players, I thought he was going to decline a little bit. Not even close. He's still hooping,
Yeah.
which is
So
really good.
Booker is starting to hit his stride
Booker's
now.
great. The Suns are playing a little better. They've been playing a little better as of late. I don't believe in them whatsoever.
I'm
I'll go
not a
on
Beal
record
guy.
right now. They're not doing nothing, bro. I'm sorry. I don't
I'm
know.
not
I
I'm
don't think KD's ever gonna win another ring,
I'm not
and
a Beal
it's
guy
gonna
at
be a
all.
tough. It's gonna be a tough little ending for KD.
Tough
But
tough conversation at the end of KD's career if
he's
he
gonna have a
wants to
lot of
go to
Twitter
Golden
thing. I mean,
State.
I don't even think that it started yet. He's gonna be Twitter man. When people talking about his legacy forever, and he's
Yeah,
going, especially if Kawhi gets another one or something like that, or Giannis, Jokic. I mean, there's a lot of
yeah,
guys that can pass him up, bro, in this generation.
which is
Um,
crazy. I mean, like KD when he's on, best. I mean, one of the craziest
I
things
used
we've
to love
seen.
him on the Thunder. I even liked him on the Warriors, but then after the Warriors, it just for
Yeah.
me, he. But
The one
you're
thing
right.
I'll give KD big credit for is I've never seen a guy come back from an Achilles injury that late in the career like he has. But
Oh, correct,
because he
correct.
is playing, because he is fully
Yeah,
healed, we've
injuries
got to
never slowed
judge
him
him.
down. He never.
Yeah, we've got to judge him on what he is because
Yeah.
it didn't slow him down. But I will give him credit for that because I've never seen
And he
somebody.
doesn't go down. I don't get a ring with my Raptors, but again,
I mean,
I, I,
Kawhi was doing the impossible that year, but
I mean that Raptors team was amazing. I
that
can't,
Warriors team was.
I can't say that.
I
I
mean,
just,
it would have had to be like a Pistons beating the Lakers situation where those guys just hated each other so much that
yeah,
like Kobe and Shaq just
yeah,
Kobe and Shaq just hated each other. It's like that would
yeah.
be the only way that they were gonna they would lose to anybody in the
Gotcha.
NBA, not just the Raptors, anybody.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. So you want to talk Lake Show?
Lake
You want
Show,
to talk
man.
Lake Show? Lake
Oh
ass,
man.
Lake
So
trash.
listen, man. Unlike you, and for obvious reasons, LeBron's one of my favorite players ever. Like I'm a huge
I,
LeBron fan.
top two greatest player of all time, bro.
It,
No, top five
AD's having
passing,
an
everything.
incredible season,
Yeah, I give him
but
credit.
man, even though he has some nights where it's like, what is this guy? Most of the time,
Now this
amazing.
season it hasn't been that, which I give him a lot of credit for. That's been his career, but this season. You know, he's been doing his thing. Unfortunately,
But,
the standings wise, it hasn't contributed. But go ahead, you
well,
keep going.
I knew that they were screwed when I saw that they were gonna be giving Cam Reddish big
Screwed.
minutes this year.
Screwed.
Man, Cam Reddish is trash.
Cam Reddish used to be so good, bro.
It
High
was
school, he was so different.
high school Cam Reddish was a beast. I wanted
Duke.
him going into the draft when we got Darius Garland. Thank God the Cavs didn't listen to me because I wanted Cam Reddish. Um, but man,
The whole
he
world
is
wanted
not
him.
good.
It's not only you, bro.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent
Hasn't played at
hasn't
all.
played, and when he has played, he hasn't been good.
When people go to the
Austin
Lakers,
Reeves
they
has
just
taken a
become
step
trash.
back.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
and it's very interesting, right? I think it has to do a lot with the media around them. It's how
Of course,
I
you
mean,
know.
Russ and Patrick Beverly talk all the time about how they were not having fun. Like
Uh huh.
Russ said something today, how he felt like he got his joy back playing basketball with
Yeah,
them
yeah.
when they
Russ
were
have been
down
saying
April.
that since he left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So man, it's like there's so many irrelevant guys on that team. Like Christian Wood
they're
was
trash, bro.
a
Like
desperate signing. Jackson Hayes was a desperation signing. But it's just so
but it's
weird
crazy because
because
at the time, let me cut you off just real quick. Um, at the time in the preseason, I thought these were great moves. I thought they were going to
yeah.
be really good. Go ahead.
Mhm. But like it makes me question like how the hell did they do what they did last year? Because like it was pretty much the
Yeah,
same team, and
trade deadline and they just got hot.
it was like D'Lo's even been playing good basketball recently. I'm not a D'Lo guy, but he's been
I'm
playing good
I'm
basketball
just not a
recently.
D'Lo guy. I don't care. He's playing good basketball lately. He is fooling y'all. He doesn't
Yeah,
want to
he
be
is.
traded. He is going to
Yeah,
be trashed right after the trade deadline. He's going to be trashed in the playoffs. He's not good enough. Not a good defender. I don't care. I don't care.
yeah. Eh,
Obviously skilled. Nets D'Lo was lit. I love Nets D'Lo. Other than
That's
that,
the only version of D'Lo I like as well.
yeah,
I think for me, also the Lakers, as much as I like LeBron, the Lakers are hell to watch with how much foul baiting goes on with that team. I mean, it's crazy,
yeah.
especially Reeves, bro. Like I like I like Reeves sometimes, but bro, sometimes he'll just go and try to get like the most free throws in a game in NBA history. It's like, bro,
Yeah,
you're not Joel Embiid, but I mean, they give him the
Reeves.
same.
I mean, I gotta give him his credit. You know, I like his aggressiveness. I like
Yeah,
Reeves. Good playmaker.
I like him too,
Makes good
but
clutch shots. Probably the third most important player on that team, which is the problem.
yeah,
Which is the problem. And the
yeah,
thing is, the Lakers are. I saw Matt Barnes say this. The Lakers.
former Laker,
What happened?
former Laker,
Former
Matt
Laker,
Barnes.
yeah, former every team, damn near. What you call it? He said that they, if they're gonna trade him, they want an All Star in return, but he's not even close to an All Star. How does that make sense?
They're gonna trade Reeves.
Like if they were to trade Reeves, like they're not gonna trade Reeves, but like if they were, they want like an All Star type of player. But how are you gonna
Yeah,
ask for an
he's
All
not an
Star if he's
all-star.
not even close to an All Star and not
Well, he's
you
so
know?
bad defensively. Like
Yeah, and
he's
I feel like they're
and he's
overvaluing him a little. Like if you're gonna get a player better than Austin Reeves, you don't just go off the potential. Like you gotta
yeah.
grab him, bro. Like
I
Austin Reeves
mean,
isn't doing that much. He makes his timely shots, aggressive, which I respect. Good, decent playmaker, plays the floor well. Aggressive on defense, which helps him. Not a great, like you said, really bad defender, but at least he's trying his best, which is always counts because some people
yeah.
don't even try, and that makes it
Mhm.
worse. Sometimes LeBron doesn't even try on defense, and it makes Austin Reeves look like a better defender than him because he's
Yeah.
trying, you know. So, but for me, the Lakers just, I mean, they're bad, and like roster wise, like I just LeBron and AD can do their 30 each, 60, and then they're only gonna get up to like 100 points because the rest of the roster can't do anything. Christian Wood hasn't done nothing. Rui was supposedly working out with
Rude, that's the
LeBron.
guy. Yep,
Yeah, go
it
ahead.
it was all potential based with him. I mean, he's had his great moments, but at the end of the day, he's just never been
Hmm.
that great. And the way people were talking about him as this like special player, he's a solid role player, but he's not anything special.
He was hyped up to work out with LeBron all year, all season. I mean, how good can he really get, man? I mean, he was good last. He's worse than he was last year for
Yeah.
sure. He was actually good last year coming off the thing. I mean, who else do they even have? Tayshaun Prince. I used to be a
I like
Tayshaun Prince
Tayshaun
guy.
Prince.
I do like him, but I mean, again, not gonna be a difference maker for them.
Tayshaun Prince
They
got the Cavs Ricky Rubio, so shout out to him.
word. That's lit. And then, but to Lakers credit, as we're speaking, they did just get their little 3 game winning streak on the road, beating the Celtics without LeBron and AD, which was crazy. That was crazy to
Yeah,
me.
that was a
And then
great
they
one.
beat the
They
Knicks, which
always
was
do that.
impressive.
the Lakers always win
because
those
they're just
games.
trash. That's what trash teams do, bro. Like,
Like, dude, I remember I've got this funny story. So
go ahead.
last year, I got this friend who I know from Twitter. He lives in Australia.
Okay.
He's a huge LeBron fan. Went to go see the Lakers that night. No LeBron or AD. They had
I mean,
Westbrook
we can
had
talk
like
about the 65 games thing too. Like, we
yeah.
can, but
I mean that's a whole nother
go
conversation.
ahead.
But Westbrook, Schroeder, and Patrick Beverly won in that game, and
Schroeder.
it was against the Heat, I think, who were playing good at the time.
Hmm.
I think it was a better team than the Heat. I don't know. It was a good team. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's always funny. It's always funny.
Another, you brought up Schroeder. I've been said they should have kept Schroeder instead of Russell, and I know a lot of people disagree with me there. Schroeder was clutch for them last year. Way better defender and
Absolutely.
better playmaker. The only thing he can't do as well is, I guess, get buckets. But I mean, I think they
Right.
should have kept Schroeder. I mean, they're missing so much defense and 3 point shooting. Then again, D'Lo's probably the best 3 point shooter. You take D'Lo away. That's really tough. But I mean, they're trash on defense too. At least you're gonna go up in the defense with Schroeder for sure. Um,
I mean, so for me with the Lakers, my whole thing is you couldn't win last year when you were playing your absolute best.
mhm.
The Nuggets were just better. I mean, obviously they had some very timely shots. Jokic
They
took
were
some
in
insane
every game
shots,
going to fourth quarter.
but
Couldn't do nothing.
I think it's pretty clear at this point, unless there's some major injuries, they're not winning anything substantial again with this core.
No
I think
shot.
that's pretty clear. You don't want to be relying on major injuries when you're thinking about your future. If I'm them, I'm going to LeBron and AD today, and I'm saying we're getting as much value as we can for these guys for you guys. Give me your top 5 teams you want to go to. You guys can figure out what you want to do in the
Sheesh.
offseason. We are not keeping you guys because at the end of the day, I love both players. It's not working. And at the end of the day,
Yeah.
those guys don't offer enough spacing to work in today's NBA. The reason why Russ, LeBron, and AD did not work is because you brought in another non-shooter with your 2 non-shooters who are your big 2
Yeah,
already.
that was all. I don't know what that was.
Made zero
That's it.
sense.
And that's
Yeah,
LeBron's fault too. That was the one. LeBron's usually great with picking who he wants to play with. That's the one time he botched it, no
they
doubt.
had they had Russ the spot of shooter. Like, what do you expected to do? Turn into
Yeah.
Curry? Like,
Yep.
um,
Um. Yeah, no
yeah,
doubt. And and then when you think about obviously them making moves for the trade deadline, obviously LeBron tweeted the time thing. There was a little speculation that LeBron would get traded. Then Rich Paul came out and said he wouldn't. Um, in my opinion, they don't even have anything to move before the trade deadline. What can they do? Like that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, they should do something 100%, but what could they do? Like
I mean, even
who
Vanderbilt's
could they
injured
get?
now.
You know,
Like,
Zach LaVine went down. Vanderbilt just got injured, which was a whole nother. I mean, he was a good defender. That's off.
it's huge for them.
That's a
Yeah,
terrible loss. He was actually playing a little bit on offense too. That's a huge injury, by the way. So he obviously can't be included in any traded. LaVine went down, bro. Jonathan Murray, I don't even think will fix their problems. And it's, again, who are you going to give up for him? They don't have no one to give up. Like they don't have anyone to trade for anyone. So what are they going to do? Like LeBron, like is pushing for a trade, no doubt, bro. They don't have no one to trade. Like their team is genuinely outside of LeBron and AD just not good in my opinion
yeah,
whatsoever, bro. Like I don't, they just don't have, and I don't like if I'm other teams. What am I gonna do with these players? These players aren't gonna do nothing for me.
yeah.
Even contending teams, I don't think can use those players like that on their team. Like I don't think that
Maybe Rui, maybe somebody
maybe
could think,
Rui,
but I
maybe
don't know. I feel
depends.
like even on some contending teams, Rui wouldn't even have a rotation spot right now the way he's playing.
Nah,
On the Celtics, would he be in the
I mean Rui
rotation?
was never even that good on the Wizards. He just did nice on the Lakers for half the
Yeah.
season somehow, some way.
Would he be in the
Mm,
Celtics rotation right now?
maybe a little off the bench, barely.
Like, would he be over like a Sam Hauser? I don't know.
I don't know, around the same, something like that. Maybe a little over Al Horford. He'll probably be using the regular season a lot because Porzingis misses a lot of games,
Yeah, that's true.
which he'll get some burn, and then we'll see. But yeah. So I don't know. Lake Show is clip for me. It'll be interesting to see what they do get rid of LeBron and them in the off season. Um, it'll be insane if he goes to another team. Obviously, the Bronny factor comes in. Supposedly, obviously, he wants to play with Bronny. So I mean, that's a huge team. Wants LeBron, just draft Bronny. That's what it's looking like. And yeah, I don't know. It's trouble in LA, man. Um,
Yeah.
I don't see it getting any better. They'll be in the play-in this year. We'll see if they make the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs off the play-in. Normally they somehow find a way in. And could they be in a good series with a team? Maybe a couple. Definitely not the Nuggets. The Nuggets will destroy them.
I think the Timberwolves are a terrible matchup for them though, because the way you beat the
Hmm.
Timberwolves is with spacing,
Yeah.
and you force Cat and Gobert out on shooters. What shooters? What shooters are there for them to
I
force
mean, it's
Cat and
just
Gobert out to?
they have no defense.
I think
And
they match up good with the Thunder, but that might be it. Out
yeah,
of
the
those
Thunder
top
usually
teams.
beat them, but this year they're finally beating the Thunder a little bit. I think they lose to the Thunder. We'll see. I love SGA, man. MVP
Yeah,
level top.
I think that would be a good series though. I think they'd get
No,
crushed by
that
the
it's a
Timberwolves.
good matchup at least. At least it's a
I
good
think they
matchup.
get crushed by the Timberwolves, probably worse than anybody. I'm not even that high on the Timberwolves just because
I'm
the
not
Timberwolves
tying
how
the
you beat
Timberwolves at
them in the
all, but
first.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
I'm not high
but
on
I
the
think
Timberwolves.
the absolute worst team for the Timberwolves to face is the Kings because the Kings would just spread them out and kill them with shooting.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
So
yeah, man, it's trouble for the Lakers right now. Not even just right now, but for the future too. Because you thought
for the
something like
future. I mean,
Reeves
they're
and
and they're lucky LeBron even came because if not, they would have not been in the playoffs this whole time. And because
yeah,
they were since Kobe obviously left, pretty much.
it's been ugly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Though to be fair, you had Julius Randle,
you had those guys.
Lonzo.
You had those guys.
Um, I just had him on top of my head. You had Alex
D'Lo,
Caruso,
who was it? Caruso, Brandon
D'Lo,
Ingram.
Brandon Ingram. That was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had some really good players there. Though I mean, if Lonzo's career path follows the way it does, man,
yeah.
such a sad career, man.
Oh,
It
Lonzo,
hurt.
yeah, man. I love Lonzo, and I love the men. I love the Ball family. Even LeVar, although I do believe he did a little too much. I mean, he just wanted the best for his sons. You know, you gotta give him
Yeah, he's
that
a great
credit.
dad.
Great dad, amazing dad, and
Took the
I actually did see
most.
recently Lonzo at least is shooting a little bit back on the court,
Yeah,
so I believe he'll be back one day. But obviously, it's not going to be anything,
I mostly
special.
give Levar credit because he took the eyes off his kids, which
Yeah,
I think was important for them. I mean, dude, Lamelo was 13 years old.
Lamelo's
It's
unbelievable.
like
I love Lamelo.
13 years old is one of the best guards in the country already. It was
Yeah, man.
insane. I've never seen. I don't think we'll ever
And it
see
was a good move
anything
to
like
send him
Lamelo ball.
overseas, get that pro basketball
Yeah,
competition way better than high school. I mean, he would have just dominated, scored
yeah.
50 every game. Instead, he actually brings good competition. And if Lamelo could just stay healthy, I mean, he'll be an all star every single freaking year. I cannot wait for him to get off the Hornets, which one day he will, because I know that contract will expire. He already got his extension, so we got his money. Smart move, grab that real quick. Obviously has the shoes and all that. I mean, he's loaded for life. Obviously,
Yeah,
that's not even.
of course.
But he did get the big NBA contract, which obviously you want, no matter what team. First, when you're young, his contract will expire eventually, however many years. So I think what is it, probably 2, 3 more years now. Um,
Yeah.
and eventually he will be off the team, and he'll go to a really good team, and he will be competing in the playoffs.
I will
Then,
say though, Brandon Miller is special.
oh
That
my
guy is
gosh,
really
oh
good.
my gosh.
I was a
I mean,
big
if I'm a
Brandon
Melo, I'm
Miller
not
fan
staying
before.
for him, but oh my, Brandon Miller is
Yeah,
good, man.
probably just because of the timing. The clock
Wemby and
got like
Chet, bro.
20
Y'all got
minutes.
some comp coming.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we probably got like 20 minutes left just because of the clock on the
Oh,
recording.
I'll
But
bet. What's
what's
the
it's
recording
up
on
to
here
two
though?
hours. Up to 2 hours, I
Oh,
think.
oh, I see it. 1:34. It only
Okay, we're
lets
good then.
it
We're
only
good.
lets us stay in here for 2 hours.
Because of the way because you're on the free one. That's yeah.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties beforehand. So yeah.
Okay, got you. Okay, got you, got you,
Yeah.
got you,
Yeah.
got you. Okay.
So but yeah, with Lamelo, I mean that's a special basketball player right there. It sucks. Also, he's had injuries too. But it sucks they've really not been able to give him anything
Yeah. Oh yeah, nothing. I mean,
besides
it
Brandon
is
Miller,
what it is.
obviously, but
He'll
that's
be,
draft.
play. At least he got his money there.
The one guy they gave him is not a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But at least, like I said, at least he'll get his money there. He'll play great. He'll get his stats up. If he can just stay healthy, he'll be an all star. I'm sure. I think he'll stay healthy for the rest of his career. He kind of reminds me of Steph Curry. He had the early ankle little issues, sprains and stuff like
yeah,
that. But I'm sure he'll be as he gets stronger, and he's still really young. And and if he just stays healthy, like I said, he'll be an all star every year as a Hornet. And then I can't imagine how good he's going to be on another team, and
yeah,
even more popular than he already is. One of the most popular players, one of the most. Um, but yeah, since we only have a little time left, I did want to also touch on the Bucks real quick. With Adrian Griffin firing and then
yeah,
hiring Doc Rivers and just them in general, kind of. I mean, they've been trash on defense. On offense, it's obviously working, but kind of maybe not the Dame and Giannis duo you would think it was going to be. Still very good, but not that top three, in my opinion.
yeah. Um, you want to start on this, or that's been your
Sure,
team?
I'll just
So
go real quick,
yeah,
and then so Adrian Griffin being fired, 100% the right move in my opinion. It just wasn't working. The defense was trash. The players weren't following him. Doc Rivers, good coach, gonna get you to the playoffs. Good voice, knows basketball, good leader, gonna choke so hard in the playoffs. I mean, he is going to. I mean, it was probably the one of the worst hirings they could have done. I Good coach. He's a good coach. You know, I can't say he's not a good coach. He's a good coach, obviously. Been around the game a long time. But I mean, this man just chokes in the playoffs. If you go 3-1, it's over. If you're losing, that should be the plan against Doc Rivers. Go 3-1, go 3-2, because you're going to end up coming back and win that series. Um,
It's unbelievable,
I just don't
really.
understand why they would grab someone that has that history. I don't get it. I agree with the buying of Adrian Griffin. Fair, not fair. I'm unhappy for him. Hopefully he gets another job soon. Great record, pretty much unheard of. But it had to be done. And then to get Doc Rivers though, what I mean, you want to get to the playoffs, win the first round. I mean, he's just not that coach. So I don't understand that. As far as the defense goes, I mean, it's garbage. I don't know what's going
Really
on.
bad.
Listen, Giannis is a really bad one-on-one defender. I'm not gonna lie. He's an amazing all-around defender. Obviously, a defensive player of the year. He
Yeah, if you put him in that role KD had in the Warriors, he's the greatest defender ever.
For real, for real. I mean, he's. I mean, when he's guarding 1-on-one, he's not the greatest defender. But other than that, when he's down low, you cannot get a shot over him. He's gonna try his hardest. Like I said, he will get posted because he's trying to block every single shot. I mean, those blocks in the finals with the DeAndre Ayton
Oh my
lob
god,
and the chase down.
crazy.
That DeAndre Ayton block lob was the clutchest block of all time and one of
That
the
was
greatest,
amazing.
almost untalked about plays of all time. Then the chase down block in that same series, bro,
Yeah,
ridiculous. A great defender like that. They have great interior defense, but their perimeter defense. Oh my God, they're relying on Middleton to play defense, bro. They're relying
in
on Chris.
2024, because
Man,
Middleton used to be a great defender, but
yeah, but bro, it's. I mean, Jimmy. They put him on Jimmy Butler last year too, even when Drew Holiday was getting cooked, and they tried Middleton. Oh my.
it was bad.
And
Um,
go ahead.
I'll say, man, I want to say I called it, but when they traded Jew for Dame, I just said I don't know where it's gonna come from defensively. Because at the end of the day,
I
Brooke
thought it was gonna
Lopez,
be the greatest thing ever. I'm not gonna lie. I
yeah,
thought it was gonna
yeah, I
work no
know.
matter what. I'm not gonna lie.
So Brooke Lopez, amazing interior defender,
Yeah.
but you put any type of
Get him in
shooters
the
out
pick and
there, man,
roll. Easy
yeah,
buckets.
it's over.
Easy
And
buckets.
that's why I never understood when he was in the defensive player of the year race. We've seen great interior defenders before who at least like Gobert's generational, that's different. But in
Mhm.
terms of Brooke Lopez, we've seen guys like Brooke Lopez before. I never
I
understood
don't
him being
even
defensive player of the year
like.
talks last
Yeah.
year.
Go ahead. Keep on.
Giannis, like you said, not a great one-on-one defender, but everything else amazing.
Yeah.
But outside that, where does the point of attack defense come from? It almost feels like it feels like those Jazz teams almost with Mitchell and
Mhm.
Gobert, where you have a couple great interior defenders, guys who could guard the paint with Giannis and Brooke, but you
Yeah.
have no point of attack defense. And it's not, with the Cavs situation, those guys, why it works is because they're athletic bigs. So they can get out on guys. They could, Mobley and Allen can do whatever you ask them to do.
Mhm.
And also the Cavs, have Okoro, who's a great perimeter defender.
Yeah.
Mitchell and Garland at least try. Um, with
And Mitchell's getting way better, like we said.
yeah, Mitchell's been great.
Mhm.
But for the Bucks, man, there's just no point of attack defense. I mean, you got guys like Malik Beasley is not a good defender. I'm sorry.
He's not. I mean, he's trying, but he's
He's
not.
trying. Trying to think, Pat Connaughton, not very much a good
Nah,
defender.
they don't got nothing, bro. It's unfortunate. I mean,
It's
I really want them to trade for Dejounte Murray, but they don't have anyone to trade. They can't make a
the
trade.
money would
They
be
have no
rough.
one to trade. I mean, you don't want anyone on their bench, and obviously you don't want Malik Beasley. You don't want Middleton. They don't have anyone to
Yeah, I
trade.
feel like they're
They-
stuck with what they're stuck with,
They're
and
stuck
at
with
the
what
end
they're
of the day,
stuck with. I don't think it's
they're
over for them. I'm
I don't think
still.
it's over, but they've gotta figure
I
that
don't know if
out
the defense is gonna
right
get
now.
better. I mean, they got to figure it out. It got to get a little better, obviously. I don't know how much better it's gonna get because I genuinely don't. Because I don't think it's effort. I just genuinely think they're not good at it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Lillard,
defense have to.
I thought could be a little bit better on defense. He's just not. He's just not. And I don't. I mean, he's definitely trying, obviously, but I think he knows that even if he tries 100%, it's gonna be a safe result. And so, with
Yeah,
that being said, I don't think he tries as hard considering saving it for offense. Another thing I want to bring up, I feel like Damian Lillard is deferring to Giannis a little and playing off Giannis, and I kind of want it. And Giannis is obviously the better player, and it should
absolutely.
be a little bit more like that. But I think it should be like 55, 45, 60, 40. Instead, I feel like it's like 65, 35, 70, 30. Like, I've seen what Damian Lillard can do, man. I've
Oh yeah,
seen what I've seen one of the, I think he's the second best shooter of all time. Undebatably top five, okay?
yeah, that's fair.
Um, Maybe the clutchest player of all time, like around there, top five again. Top seven least, whatever you want to say. I think they can benefit from Giannis playing off Dame a little bit more. And I don't think they're doing it as much. Maybe they're playing tonight, and I just the Dame Giannis duo, like they're playing great on offense, but that duo
It could be better.
it
It could be
hasn't
better. I'm
been
not
what
gonna lie.
exactly what I thought, and it being top three, what it was going to be, and the chemistry with the pick and roll, and if you go over how you're going to get back, it hasn't been exactly that. They played great because obviously they're going to play great. It's Dame and Giannis, but just that like Giannis setting Dame the screen and stuff, like I thought it was going to be unstoppable. It just hasn't been 100% what I thought it would be yet.
In my opinion, they've got to spam the pick and roll. Honestly, like I don't feel like they run the pick and roll enough. I feel like with
Yeah,
those two
probably
guys,
not.
you should you should be spamming the pick and roll. And just honestly, their goal should just be to outscore teams at this point.
Yeah,
They're a trash defensive team, but you
yeah.
do have the scoring. And I know defense wins
They do have the
championships, whatever.
scoring, but
Screw that. Just you're
yeah.
going out
I
there trying
mean,
to score
but that's what they
150 a
did.
night.
That's kind of what they did when letting Drew Holiday. Again, I really feel like looking back at it, because you got to think about it. Middleton wasn't like before this year. He wasn't viewed as washed or not as good because he was injured the year before.
Yeah,
He was injured last year, and then the year before that was the finals year, right? Or am I
yeah.
tripping?
No, 2 years before that was the
Or two
finals
years.
year.
But he was
The
still.
year before that, he got hurt during the Pelicans. Was it? No, no, not Pelicans. Sorry. Shoot.
Oh no, he was healthy last year, right?
No.
He
Who did he
was.
get hurt against? I
Uh,
don't know why I said Pelican.
well, he lost.
Uh,
He got hurt the year they lost to the
the year
Celtics.
after
They,
the
in the
year they
playoffs,
lost
they
to
were
the
up
Celtics.
3-2. They should have won that series. Drew Holiday
Yeah,
had the crazy steal in Game 5 and the clutch three, and then they choked 3-2.
yeah, yeah.
Without Middleton. And then last year, yeah, Middleton wasn't insane last year, but he was still better than this year. Last year, um,
At times, he. I don't know. He was watched to me last year.
he
I'm not gonna
was,
lie.
yeah, maybe.
But I
Well,
think
he was really injured
probably
last year.
leaving
He
him.
was injured last
Yeah,
year. He was
yeah.
injured as
He
heck.
came back from injury
But I
last year.
still feel like they could have traded Middleton instead of Drew Holiday, and I feel like the
I
Blazers
think
would have
they
said
could have
yes.
too. Yeah,
And
I
and
think.
and
I don't
if they
think
did
Portland was
that,
looking
would have
for.
fixed all the problems, bro. That would have
I
fixed
think
every single problem. Drew
I think
Holiday,
Portland wanted
amazing
to.
man. I love Drew
Yeah.
Holiday.
I mean, Drew Holiday's really taking that Celtics team to the next level.
Oh,
I think.
they're ridiculous. The Celtics. And at least the Bucks did get them that one time though by a lot.
Yeah.
That's a at least for them. I'm still holding out hope on the Bucks. My preseason pick was the Clippers and the Bucks. I did pick the Clippers in the preseason. How crazy is that to win it all?
That is,
Um,
I mean, the Cavs
Not
Clippers
thinking
was
anything
my
of James Harden. I just was like Kawhi. I was just
yeah,
like,
Cavs Clippers was my want final series, like my
word.
like Christmas present final
Yeah,
series or
I feel
whatever you
you.
want to call it. That
I don't know if any.
I had Celtics Lakers.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
crazy. I had Darvin Ham as my coach of the year, and wow, not even close.
yeah,
Because
he's.
I
I
thought the
mean,
Lakers were gonna have a great regular season and choke in the playoffs. That's what I was thinking it was gonna be. Because I thought they were with the new players and it was gonna be really good. But that's how I was thinking. You know how much time we got left, by the way? 'Cause
what we got like 10 minutes probably.
cool, cool, cool.
So last thing, we don't have to go into too much of a discussion about it, but who do you got in the Super Bowl?
I was literally gonna say that, bro. I was literally gonna be like, we gotta talk
Great
about
minds
that.
think alike. Great minds think alike.
Um, I got my homeboy, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
So
Oh, you're a Patriots fan too, so yeah,
so
you might feel
as
some
you
way.
probably know, I am not a Mahomes fan, but
No one's a
I
Mahomes
can't,
fan.
I, I can't, I can't say anything about the Magic at this point. There's something around the Chiefs. They just, you know what they remind
He's
me of?
ridiculous, man.
The 18-19 Patriots, who were
Hmm.
not necessarily the best football team. They were definitely better teams in the league than them, but they knew how to win, and that's what this Chiefs team is. And their defense is great, first of all, but it's not like best in the league. Great, it's really good, but it's not best in the
It's
league.
top through five.
Yeah, top five
It
for
was
sure.
crazy because in the beginning of the season they were like top five-ish, then they kind of sank in the middle, and
And
now
now they're
that
crazy.
secondary, holy shit! That boy
Well,
Sneed and
yeah,
McDuffie, that boy Sneed made the play on Zay Flowers, was snubbed for a Pro Bowl, but did make
Zay
the All
Flowers,
Pro, which well
Zay,
deserved.
Zay
Um,
Flowers, man, that guy,
yeah, it was crazy. I
Zay
mean,
Flowers,
he'll learn. He's a rookie. He'll learn.
yeah,
Um,
that was wow.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that game made me really upset. But the
I feel you. I love Lamar. It's crazy because Odell is my favorite player in the league, and Lamar is my third favorite player in the league, and Mahomes is my second. Obviously, I'm a Giants fan, so my love
yeah.
for OBJ, I want to see him win.
Mhm.
Um, so it was a kind of a bittersweet game for me. I was good with either team. I love both. I love both teams because of the players.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a Giants fan first, but the thing about Mahomes is, man, and the Chiefs, like especially Mahomes. I mean, I said it the whole time. Everyone, I've been reacting to the NFL the whole season. Everyone's saying that it's done. I said it until I see it. Like until I see them lose, I can't say that they're going to lose. You feel me?
No, I thought I'll be honest, like I'm pretty sure I was in your comments saying this team's done when you were like still holding out
Everyone, my
hope for
whole
them.
comments, and I was just saying, listen, bro, it's 15,
Yeah,
and these quarterbacks in the AFC are really
done.
good, especially compared to NFC, and they're
Well, I
not
love
even close
Lamar.
to him.
I
And
love
I
Lamar,
love
but like,
Lamar. I love
but
Lamar.
yeah, no, I mean
MVP.
you're right,
And Lamar could have really made it close against Mahomes too. And now,
dude. That game's always gonna hurt,
and
man, because
now, yeah, it's a
they
big one. It's a big
if
one.
Zay
He'll be
Flowers
back.
if Zay
He'll be
Flowers
back.
doesn't mess up, man,
He'll be
that's it.
back. But if
Also,
it's
the
against,
coaching scheme. Why was Lamar not running the ball at all that
yeah,
game? Like I
I don't
don't
know. It
understand.
was, and
And
then
also
that
the
pick,
defense
that
was
pick killed me in the
yeah.
fourth quarter. I was like, oh my
Should have been
gosh, I
a
can't
hold,
defend
but it
you.
was a
I,
terrible throw. It was
I
a terrible throw, but it should have been a defensive holding because or the guy like came and
I'm
shot it.
iffy on that one. There was a
It was
lot
a
of obviously
terrible
calls
throw.
in that game. But the
Yeah.
Ravens also in that game kind of beat
The
themselves
Ravens
with them
put
calls.
themselves in
They
it,
got
yeah.
into the too much of the F the Chiefs, F Mahomes, we'll hit them, we don't care.
Well,
The thing is, if you,
also
they're
yeah,
gonna give
carry
him the
on.
call. That's the thing. Y'all gotta understand. They are going to give Mahomes the call.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, like at the end of the day, guys in sports kind of earn it, right? Like I mean, you
He
get to the point where the refs are
he's
gonna
earned
trust
it.
you.
He has earned
And
it. So,
as a Patriots fan, I can't say Brady never got there, so I can't hate on that. You know,
yeah,
like
and I
it
can't
is
call
what it is.
Mahomes to go over Brady.
No,
Um, Not even
that's
close. I mean, I think Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes is a good dude, man. He always takes the high road. He doesn't think
oh yeah,
he genuinely doesn't think
he's
he's the goat. You know,
yeah,
which is amazing. Super humble. I mean, no one's done what he's done. When it's all said and done, obviously there'll be a conversation. We'll see
yeah.
what he keeps doing. Brady does have the edge in the. He actually went head to head with him and beat him. Then again, it was a
And
young
beat him
Mahomes,
twice.
and the D Ford offsides was crazy. Um,
To be fair, in that same game, the Patriots recovered a fumble for the win, and they called a penalty on the Patriots
They
to
did.
win.
I don't even. It
Yeah,
was a while ago. I was watching. I remember, and then
oh
Mahomes
yeah.
didn't even get to touch the ball in overtime, which was crazy. You know. Did they change
Three
that?
third and tens. Three third and
Yeah,
tens,
yeah,
man.
ridiculous. Gronk and Edelman. I mean, that's what Brady
Um,
does, man.
but man, it's with Mahomes, man. Like as much as I've tried to hate him over the years, it's honestly always been like salty. You know, it's not like
Hmm.
coming from a place of like realistic. But man, the only two guys I like can't understand putting him over at this point are Brady and Manning. I still think Manning's become the most underrated
Wow.
quarterback. I think Manning
Surprised you didn't say Joe.
regular season, yeah, regular season. I think Manning's by definitely the best quarterback
Yeah,
ever.
it's crazy
Um,
because playoff wise, Mahomes already has as many wins as him now.
it's
You saw
crazy.
that?
That's crazy. But I still, dude, I saw Manning with my own eyes, and
Yeah, I
some
feel
of the
you.
seasons he had, it was just, dude, like his 55 touchdown season with the Broncos in
That's crazy.
2013. I and
Yeah,
it's like they really man, I mean it's crazy I lost that game 43-8 to the Seahawks, but just what I saw that whole season, I saw throughout my whole time. At the end of the day, everyone was always
yeah.
scared facing
I
Manning.
mean,
Even at the
mhm,
end, he was still it was just such a good football mind. His arm was cooked, but his
yeah,
football
yeah,
mind,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
Peyton's
insane.
definitely in my top four. You know, I have Brady one, and then after that, you know, in no order, I have Peyton, Joe Montana, and Mahomes. The thing
That's
for
fair.
me is with Peyton, versus Mahomes specifically. Um, I'll throw all stats aside, everything aside, because I mean Mahomes might have him there already, which is just ridiculous.
It's
Um,
crazy.
I'm going eye test, and that eye test with Mahomes, man.
It is crazy. But I don't know. But
The
Manning
way he uses his like the scrambling is just what
is
gets me,
crazy.
bro. He can't. You can't get him on the ground, bro. Like I
Yeah.
just don't. It's insane. And then obviously give a lot of credit to Andy Reid and all that, obviously.
Oh,
But
I mean, Andy Reid. Listen, what Mahomes has done is incredible,
mhm,
but he could not have went to a better situation with
for
Reid,
sure. But
Kelsey, Kareem Hunt at
yeah,
that point,
oh yeah, Kareem.
Tyreek
Well,
Hill.
that's what I wanted to bring up. Tyreek Hill. That boy dips, and this is what this man
Yeah,
does.
that's the most
It's
impressive
it's
part to me.
it's
It's you can't deny
it's
it anymore.
and the thing is, this is them at their worst this
Here,
season.
3 minutes.
Gotcha. Last point. Then this is them at their worst this season, right? Um, when are they going to get him? Because they're going to get better next year. They're going to get another receiver next year. They had nothing this year. They had nothing this year, man. And
It's unbelievable.
this was so when is anyone in the AFC going to beat them? This was the year to beat them, and it didn't get done. They had nothing this year, and then the Tyreek was gone. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, let's
Yeah.
finish this thing off then.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. This
So much
was
fun.
amazing talking to you, and this is the first time we've gotten to talk like in
Again, bro.
person, man. Like
Yeah.
this has been amazing. I've always loved hearing your perspective on stuff, and
You too, man. You too.
it's I don't know, like
I was
watching
able to
your
tell the
videos
intelligence
last
from the
year.
comments that you be dropping because like you be spreading the info in the comments. So you know.
Hell yeah. No, like I've from the first time, like I've always looked for like CAVS reactions on YouTube and I saw yours. I was like, damn. And then for me starting my thing, I was like, damn, like this is like the type of stuff I could,
Yeah.
go off of. And that's been, it's definitely inspiring for me started too. Cause I did a little podcast with my friend 2 years ago, but I never really thought about doing my own channel and seeing what
Yeah.
you did with like, doing the reactions and then everything. It made me be like, oh, I could do my own channel, So I
Yeah, bro.
appreciate,
Oh,
just like your grinds, like seeing that. So
yeah,
it's
bro.
been awesome to
And I'm
see.
happy, man, because you know it's clearly a hobby of yours. So you know, just keep doing it. And obviously, we talked all camera what you got going on all camera, and that's amazing. And then to have this on the side, man.
Thank you, bro.
Um, you know this is a great hobby, obviously. So you know, keep doing it on your timing. Um, and yeah, just you know, I'm happy to see it, man. You see me commenting and how happy it is to see, and you know, it's awesome that now we're collabing doing this wise.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
this was so much fun. Obviously, you know, whoever sees it is best with it, but I don't care if it got 0 views or 1 million. I'll do it
This
every
was such a
single.
good time.
You feel me? That's what I'm.
I
You know.
appreciate that, man. That
So
means a lot.
yeah, and
All right.
yeah. So like, we got episode 2 soon.
Yes, sir.
Maybe one every month, one every 2 months,
Oh yeah.
something
I'm
like
with
that.
it.
Something like that. One every month, one
Oh
every
yeah.
2 months, whatever it is, for
This
sure.
has been an awesome time. Thank
Yeah.
you to everyone so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We will definitely be having this guy back on soon. And thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Peace, guys.